Hello everyone, it's Ellie. I decided to get outside today. It is a beautiful mid-60s sunny Northern California day. We are filming from my front deck of my house. Thank you for joining me today. I have a couple of fun things to share today. The main thing I'd like to share today is my recently written Astro seasonal poem, a poem for Scorpio season. Before we read that together, I'd like to give a couple brief Astro highlights, and then I may share the shorter poem I created for Libra season last month. Just listening to all the sounds, there's lots of little birdies hanging out. I like to use wild bird seed, and they're eating it up right now. For those of you that don't know, I live in the lower basin Sierra Nevada mountain range. So, a few things. The moon is currently in Pisces. It has been since yesterday. Yesterday was the 10th of November, 2024. Excuse me, today is the 10th of November, 2024. And the moon will be in Pisces through the evening tomorrow night, 11/11. Then the moon will transit into Aries over the night for the states. And also Venus is entering Capricorn on the 11th tomorrow on Veterans Day. And that will be in transit till about December 4th. By the way, I just want to thank everybody who served and wish them a very nice Veterans Day. I do actually offer a 10% discount to all veterans on my astrology sessions. So when you head over to my booking site on SquareUp, links are provided in my profile. Just leave a comment with your appointment booking that you are indeed a veteran, and I will apply a 10% discount. It's just my way of saying thanks. That's year long. I've had that since I started in 2021. So feel free to utilize it. And it's on a honesty status, so I'm not going to quiz you. Anyways, as you can hear, there's some enthusiast shooting going on in the distance. I do live in the mountains, and I'll be surprised some folks are having some fun today, celebrating the holiday. So if you hear that going off, it's in the distance. Anyways, so Venus in Capricorn. Let's just talk about that. Pretty much, you want to look to where you have Capricorn in your chart to see how it will be applying to you during this transit. Just grab some tea real quick. As y'all know, I do a pretty relaxed, unedited, authentic filming in all of my videos. I show up as myself no matter who I'm around. So Venus, as we all know, is about what we're attracted to, what we're drawn to, what we love, what we want to show affection to. So to use my subjective astrological birth chart, because I find it's really helpful for people to hear my experience, to understand how certain energies work through me. And I have a shared house, 6th and 7th house Capricorn placements. By the way, in case you didn't know, and I'm going to make one of my Instagram Astro highlights for this little fact eventually. But don't let pop astrology fool you. We're not just one sign. We have every single sign, all 12 of them, in every single part of our chart in different ways, showing up in different ways. So we're not, it's an oversimplification to only look at your sun sign. I'm just going to tell y'all that to clarify that. And this is why it's really useful to have a session with a professional astrologer like myself, so we can look at your birth chart and see where the energy is hitting you. So for me, my 6th and 7th house, that's service, daily habits, and also partnerships of all kinds. And how I relate to others. So this transit is lighting up my love and affection towards those things, being of service and working in union with others. So let me be of service. I do have just a few appointments available for November, and I will be shortening my hours for winter and late fall, probably coming in the next couple weeks. But I would love to read your chart over the phone. So thank you for hanging with me so far. Let's see, what else would I like to mention? Of course, the moon will be in Aries late tomorrow night, early tomorrow morning. And it's a very short transit. Because on Wednesday evening and early Thursday morning for the East Coast, the moon will be in Taurus. And on the 15th, I believe it's in the afternoon. Yes, the afternoon in the States is the full moon in Taurus. Also, Saturn happens to go direct that day. I see that. However, the moon will be shifting into Gemini later that evening, West Coast, and early morning, East Coast. So I think we're really going to feel the build up to the full moon, probably, I'd say 13th, 14th. And to clarify moon energies, different people have different ideas on how long the energy lasts. If it's an eclipse full moon, then it would be a 6-month long energy, at least. But for full moons, people typically look at the next 30-day cycle. And some people are very specific and hone into just the next 2 weeks until the new moon cycle. Pardon the airplanes. We do have people looking out for us out here on the mountain to make sure there's no fires. So it's usually pretty quiet out here, but every now and again we get one flying overhead. And I say thank you to your assistance in keeping us safe. And I feel for everybody going through natural disasters. We went through a really big scare in August with the wildfires and almost had to evacuate my home. However, I was fortunate that I did not have to, which meant I got to make sure there was extra water for all the animals because the fire was like, I don't know, 10 miles, maybe 15 from my home, and couldn't go outside because of the smoke, but it was better over here than it was where it was really active. So I always try to be a good steward on my land and make sure the wildlife is taken care of. Just a little side note about me. So back to what we were talking about with the full moon energies. I like to look back also at the previous year's full moon. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who can resonate with how hard the Aries North Node transit has been as far as finding our unique paths, our individuality. Anybody with a lot of Aries in their chart is going to have had kind of a hard 2 to 3 year transit, which, by the way, finally ends at the end of January when the North Node of the Moon transits into Pisces. So that'll be our collective theme for the next 2 to 3 years going forward from there. However, we're already past most of the conclusion of that energy. I think now we're just integrating all the knowledge about it. And what that has to do with the full moon in Taurus last year is, I believe it might have been an eclipse or right after the last eclipse then. And my life didn't just change, I started a whole other book. And it has been a journey, and it has been a very solitary journey. And I feel for everybody else who is also on that trek. But you know, it's not all bad. It's not all like hard and everything. Like pioneering is an Aries trait, discovering new worlds and just expanding our adventures with ourselves and with others. It's great for new beginnings, fresh starts. It's just, I feel for everybody who had to get through the process. And that full moon was extremely climactic for me and a lot of other people. And I happen to have a moon in Taurus in my natal astrology. So I felt it pretty strong. So this full moon for me personally is pretty powerful. And I think it's going to be very healing for me, and it's going to be very healing for others. Taurus does rule, along with Virgo, herbal medicine and natural healing, which is part of my business, as y'all know, my apothecary. And we could take that and apply it to spirit, because Scorpio season is among us, and it is the polar opposite of Taurus. And it's a good time to integrate the ethereal, the spiritual side of things, the transformative energies of phoenix energies of life, birth, death, rebirth, regeneration, and how that applies in fullness to the mundane here on earth, in our bodies, in the world, what is grounded in reality, and how it can be applied. And some of you know, if you haven't followed my media, check me out on Instagram. I'm hebcraft.by.ellie. I'll put it in the description as well. And you can learn so much more over there. I'm a highly creative person with a lot of talents that I've worked very hard to integrate into myself over the last decade. And I'm really happy to finally not just be getting out of my bubble, but fully expanding beyond. So this Taurus full moon, if you don't want to look back to the last year, if that doesn't really apply to you, look back to about 6 months ago when the new moon was in Taurus. So what did you start back then? That would have been about mid-May. And again, I don't mean to exclude anybody in other time zones. I just like to simplify things, so I speak from a generalized Western time zone. So I hope nobody is offended. I think there's a lot of astrologers out there who can appeal to everybody all the time. but I go with what I am intuitively led to speak about. And because I tend to ramble, when I can be brief and concise, it's probably for the best. So no hard feelings if you are not in the States. I wish all of you well. So, speaking from the States, what did you start back in the middle of May? Whatever it was, it's concluding now. I mean, we could even say we're feeling the energies 2 weeks leading up, but we're still in the energy of the new moon cycle then. It just depends on how sensitive you are. And I don't mean like emotionally, I mean psychically or spiritually, however you want to perceive that. So, I'm sure most of you are ready to hear my poem, and I believe that was all my astrology. Hello, Bumblebee. Okay, let's see here. I did not make a video for Libra season poem because it's so short. And I subtly slipped this into my Instagram stories last month. And another community I'm a part of. Speaking of communities, if y'all haven't checked out Timothy Holleran with Rosalila Healing, I highly recommend him for evolutionary astrology birth chart readings. He's a leader in the community, and I'm a part of his astrology circle. And I think the work that he's doing is very valuable, and I think it's definitely worth checking him out, and also checking out the lives that he does with the circle. It's a way to get a free, like, quick birth chart reading and also be a part of a community. And we all go pretty deep over there. We're all pretty open, and it's a safe space. And I'm just a small, tiny little piece of that community. But I've thoroughly enjoyed being a part of it. And I actually do share my astrology writing and other stuff over there at rosalilahealing.com. So, quick shout out to him. All right, so I started writing astrology-inspired poetry in June with the Gemini season poem, and it wasn't something I had planned on doing like most of my art. I am a writer. I've been writing all my life, but I'm actually working on a collection of written work right now. So when I'm inspired, I just put it out there. And eventually I hope to have that inspiration every month and do every sign. So this is a new practice for me. So here is a poem for Libra season. In the wild open, in the space between three, you will find thee, rover, riler, slammed into me, extraordinarily. Let's just be me. All right, in the moment y'all have been waiting for, this poem for Scorpio season. You can find the meme for this on my Instagram or Pinterest. I share across the board on both those. So here we go. To burn up inside of me, pleasures buried under seed, joys tempted on a ledge, lover's kiss is the edge, forgotten word and troubled past. I think I finally found what lasts. It starts within the center space and grows beyond a simple place. An elegant reprieve we need from hardship and blows of their creed. The dogma sunk in well. I'm over whatever you had to sell. Response is etiquette of leisure, where relaying is a race in seizure. Back to tip the tat you sway, going neither that or this way. Wind is ungraspable, as fire is finite. Damn, this seems like the longest night. For hope and for reason, the blending is the seasons. Alchemy produced in untamed wiles, Satyr peering on their dials, tuned in to the gravel on the road, instead of the abundant abode. Fortune is the balance of all, not stealing, sneaking, and storing till fall. Listen to the truth in your lies, and the old self will relieve and die. Then we can look at it all. Through the eyes of purity I call, into the center of lasting heart, a release that brings a true, fresh start. Me. And that was that. In case you guys, excuse me, trying not to say you guys, in case y'all didn't know, my pen name is me, M.E. Those are my initials reversed. So if you ever see any memes with that, I made them. They're mine. And I share them. And I hope others enjoy resharing them. Just please give me credit, because this is going to be copyrighted, published work. Alrighty. I hope everybody enjoyed hanging out today. I'm unsure of how long this video is. One last plug. Last night I did a fun hangout singing practice video, number 2. And it's something new I'm getting out there just to get to know everybody. And for those of you that have been following me since I decided to officially launch my YouTube channel in the last couple months, you know that I am extremely camera shy and that I am working on it. Well, last night I felt brave enough to kind of do a quick little cameo appearance in the video, very briefly, 3 times throughout the video. So you actually have to hang out to see me. I would really appreciate all the likes and subscribes and follows. It does not cost anybody anything except a moment of your time. I make it a point of liking all videos I find valuable, and most of the people I follow are extremely valuable, so it's a simple way to show your support. The algorithm likes it. It means more people get to hear what I'm saying, get to share my work, build my community, which is very small right now, but now that I've finally stepped over the threshold of being open to other people again, I'm really looking forward to who all comes into that. And on that note, thank you so much. I hope you got to see some cool wildlife. And until next time, please enjoy my singing video. Later, darlings.